Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is set to introduce many different pieces of both Jedi and Sith lore, as well as Force lore into this story by writer and director J.J. Abrams, Chris Terrio, and creator George Lucas, to truly end the Skywalker saga in a satisfying way for fans around the world. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really intriguing about Episode 9 is that we do know that at the very core of this movie is that they are focusing on Jedi, Sith, and Force lore that's going to be used as a way to inspire the characters of Kylo Ren and Rey to keep on moving forward and to pursue their path to the light and the dark in this story, which is going to be a very interesting side of Star Wars, because this is something that we all expect to see in The Last Jedi, since we got a little glimpse of the Prime Jedi and the First Jedi Temple in the books. That was pretty much the only Jedi and, of course, the actual Force lore that we got in The Last Jedi. However, now in Episode 9, J.J. Abrams is going all out with this film. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this movie, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that shot descriptions consisting of Rey traveling to the Lost City, where it's described that she is on a mission to discover ancient Jedi and Sith lore in the Land of Warriors and in the Land of the Forbidden. It's described that one of the scenes involves Rey walking through a series of catacombs that lead to the Land of the Forbidden, where she eventually discovers the statue of the first Darth. It's described that the back of the statue is covered in ancient Sith code that is said to be translated by Rey using the ancient books from Luke's Tree Library. It's said that eventually Rey discovers the full name of the first Darth, known as Darth Andidu / Lilat Nemes. It's described that Lilat Nemes became the first Darth many years ago and eventually became Darth Andidu, who was the first Darth in Star Wars Legends, and is now being reworked into the current Disney canon for the Star Wars universe. It's said that Lilat Nemes and his statue contains many relics of the ancient Sith that Rey discovers, one of which is described to be the staff that once was used as a lightsaber by Andidu that has been long destroyed many years ago. It's said to have a gold design to it with ancient writing on the staff saber. So the name itself is very intriguing. It's spelled Lylatnimis, Lilat Nemes. Now, what I like about this name is that it sounds ancient. It sounds like somebody who would be the first Darth, who eventually becomes Darth Andidu. Now, in case you guys are unfamiliar with Darth Andidu, he was the first Darth in Star Wars Legends, also known as the Expanded Universe, and is now being made canon in some way, shape, or form in The Rise of Skywalker. Now, like I've always said before in the past, we do know that J.J. Abrams, during the rewrites of this film for the months of November and December of 2018, is that they added in a lot of Easter eggs, not just to the EU, but also to the future new Star Wars trilogy, that once we finally watch those 3 Star Wars movies by the creators of Game of Thrones, we're going to look back at The Rise of Skywalker and actually see the connections. So these are pre-Easter eggs, if you will, for Episode 9 that connect to the new trilogy. So what I like about this is that we're learning more about the ancient Sith and, of course, the ancient Jedi, and how Rey is going to benefit from all of this. The main reason as to why she even goes to the Lost City is to gain historical accuracy and to gain actual knowledge of the ancient ways of the dark and the light to build a new order that can be pretty much flawless. And I think that's exactly, why Disney and Lucasfilm are being very careful with this movie. They're really trying to add in a lot of lore that's going to be used as a foundation to create something new for the 2020s in the forms of books, novels, comics, you name it. And I really do believe that that's the real strong point here for The Rise of Skywalker, is how a lot of this Jedi and Sith lore is actually going to be inserted into Episode 9, regardless of it being, over from Star Wars Legends / the EU, or if it came from the current canon material that already falls under Disney. Now, mind you, we do know that George Lucas and Chris Terrio helped out a lot with Star Wars Legends, in case you guys did not know. Chris Terrio, he's really involved with bringing a lot of Legends material to life for The Rise of Skywalker. He did his research for this movie in order to really make it very accurate, in order to really satisfy a lot of hardcore fans around the world that are very familiar with the EU / Legends, where we're going to finally be able to see, exactly what is what when we go ahead and see this movie. So the Lost City itself, we're still not quite sure exactly what planet this resides on. It's actually said to be a city underneath the surface of this unknown world in a very unknown spot in the galaxy. And I think what they're trying to do here is that they are opening up the possibilities of future comics, novels, like I said, video games, and everything around those lines. We also know that the new Star Wars trilogy is going to expand of what we already know about the current Star Wars galaxy. And in Episode 9, we're going to see a lot of those connections once the films arrive in the 2020s by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. So I think the whole concept of pre-Easter eggs is a very interesting idea. It's almost as if JJ is giving us a little tease of what's to come in the new Star Wars trilogy. After all, we do know that David Benioff and D.B. Weiss have actually talked with JJ, George Lucas, and everybody that was involved with the past Star Wars films. They're basically talking in order to keep the continuity in place, in order to also make the whole entire Star Wars franchise feel as one. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.